Okay, so we are the lucky people. We're going to talk about this sexy subject of GDPR. Ooh. Yeah. But we're going to talk about it from like a UX and design perspective and take you through our process that we had at Schibsted and kind of share our learnings, but also our failures with you guys.
Here we go.
Yeah, so who are we? We got a really nice presentation from Helle here, but I'm Mikaela. I work as a UX designer at Aftonbladet, so that's a Swedish newspaper. And Kathleen?
And I work as head of user research at Schibsted, where I don't only work with Aftonbladet, but many of the online newspapers that we have both in Norway and Sweden. And I'm a Dutchie. I moved to Sweden about 8 years ago, I think. And when I come here, like even it's just an hour's flight from Stockholm, right? But even here, I'm like, this is more like home. It's greener. Everyone's on bikes. This is lovely. So I love being here. It's really good. Yeah.
I love being here as well. Copenhagen is a beautiful city.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Oh, even the animations worked.
Yeah.
Cool. So we work for a company called Schibsted, huge global company based in Norway. It actually comes from Norway. It's spread over multiple countries, and we have huge platforms in these countries, and they're divided between marketplaces and media places. So Aftonbladet is a part of the media places, so those are mainly news sources. And we're going to focus on Aftonbladet because I work there, and Kathleen mainly does a lot of job for us with the research for Aftonbladet. And Aftonbladet is actually Scandinavia's biggest website. That's actually Scandinavian-owned. And half of the population in Sweden visit us every week. So it's a lot of data that we collect. And therefore, GDPR is such an important thing for us to consider, and absolutely for our users. So that's kind of why I think it's very relevant that we're here. But
Yeah, and I think one thing that we realized when we started on this GDPR journey was not only how hard it would be, but also how much was included. Now, who here considers themselves to be a GDPR survivor? Who worked on this and was like, I got through it, but barely. Yeah. Who here dodged the ball and was like, no, I don't want to do it, I'll just go away. Yes, yeah, very honest hand there at the back. And I think, what we noticed while working on this is not just the compliance part and the regulation part, which is mainly why no one wants to touch it, because everything that says European regulation makes you just want to die inside. It's also about the business perspective and outside things that are happening. So we're from the UX scene, and we're like, okay, we want to make a great user experience. But actually, it's just a small part. There's so many other things to take into consideration. So we'll touch upon these 5 different elements that we came across and how we try to deal with what we learned from them. So here we go. The right to be forgotten, GDPR, a European regulation. It came into place May last year, and ever since you've been spammed with cookie bars and consent options that you just click away. So we're all familiar with what it is. But the main intention of this regulation was to really provide transparency and really empower users to decide what happens with data, what is collected, and give you a bit of insight into what's happening. And that's so powerful and so important for all of us, because we've seen cases where data has been abused, misused, forgotten, lost, attacked, taken. So, it's all about this autonomy. And we started to notice when we were working on this in Schibsted, it's like data, we have so much of it. We're all hoarders, really. Like, you might need that. Let's track this, let's track that. Some of our sites had like 25 different tracking scripts on them, because you never know when you might need it, really. And it's about, I think it was already in 2017 that our privacy officer was like, if you have it, get rid of it. We don't need it anymore. And not just because of the threat of, you will get fined if you don't comply, but it's also a lot about maintenance, updating. There's so much, bloated kind of data information effort that you'll never use it either. Even on a small scale, for me as a researcher, I had so many transcripts and so many recordings and so on, because just in case I might look back at it. You might have that as well. Not GDPR compliant. Delete it. Get rid of it. You're not going to look at it. It's 5 years old. You're not going to use that again, are you? So yeah, this is, I think, our attitude towards data changed from loving it and hoarding it to seeing it as a liability, and also seeing okay, what is it we really do? What is it we really use? And then it comes with the technical implications, and I think this is something that most companies saw as the main hurdle. This wonderful, really wonderful thing, that the right to be forgotten, such an essential part of GDPR. You can ask for a data takeout. Hooray! You can experiment with it as well and ask for part of data to be taken out and not everything. Yay! Now, I don't know if any one of you know any engineers who worked on the back end of making this happen, but this is a massive undertaking.